coaching channel. This is Coach Kayla, and today I'm answering a question that was posed by one of our amazing clients, Lynn, and she was asking about how do you keep from quitting? That's basically what she said. How do you make sure you don't quit? This is coming from because she's done a lot of programs in the past and she always ends up stopping, right? And last week I talked about like the challenges and how we like to join new and exciting things, and really it's just important to lay the foundation and do the boring work, right? It's a good episode if you remember that and you want to go back, or if you didn't listen to it, you should go back and listen to it. And basically what it comes down to is usually we stop doing something when, like, I was trying to think back on times that I quit exercising for a period of time. And it was when my routine got disrupted. So like when I was playing, I was playing sports all growing up. And so then sports stopped and then my routine got disrupted and I didn't create a new one to go with, to include whatever it was that I needed to do, right? So my routine got disrupted. The expectations that I set for myself were unrealistic. For instance, like I'm going to wake up at 6, even though I'm going to bed at 2 a.m. as a college student. Like, really? Okay. Are you going to do that all the time? No. Is it realistic for you to expect yourself to do it all the time? No. So setting unrealistic expectations. And the other thing that would come up with me, and I've seen with other people, is, well, if I can't do it perfect, then I'm not going to do it at all. Okay. So those are the three main things I would say cause people to stop doing whatever they're doing. All right. There's probably others, but those are the three that I came up with. So a routine disruption. This happens every year to everyone multiple times. Okay. January happens, everyone gets on track, everyone's crushing it. Okay. And they probably set unrealistic expectations for themselves as well. But they get on track, they're doing it really good, and then they go on vacation and it's hard to get back on track. Or spring break happens, or summer happens, and there's a routine disruption. Okay. Now, for most people, what is missing is recognizing that the health stuff, so like the working out, the eating right, that's not seasonal, that's all the time. Okay. And for a lot of people, it's hard for them to grasp it, right? But like if you think about brushing your teeth, okay? If you go on vacation, you still brush your teeth, right? If you go anywhere, you still brush your teeth. So why is it when anything of that happens, we just stop doing all the things that we know we should be doing, right? So I don't know. I don't know why. But you probably should figure out a way to make it that much of a priority or that much of a habit. And if it's not, it takes some time. In fact, when I was that's what I tell people a lot, when they feel like they have to do stuff on their own, is like when you were a kid, you had to be reminded to brush your teeth all the time. And then now it's just a habit, And so the other stuff needs to be a habit too. So when a routine disruption happens, there's a couple different things that you can do. Obviously, you can adapt things to fit your new routine, which takes some planning and some preparation. Obviously, there's going to be routine disruptions that happen and there's no preparation for it. But when you can plan for it, you're going to be set up for success a little bit better. Okay. Summer happens every year. I don't know if this is a surprise, but it does. And so do the holidays, right? And so when those routine disruptions happen, the kids are home all of a sudden, you can't get your workout in at 10 a.m. Like, when could you get it in? Instead of just forgetting about it for the summer, figure it out, right? I work out early in the morning because all year long, because nothing disrupts that routine, okay? For the most part, about 99% of the time. And so that's what I have figured out. And if you, and to be honest, like in a couple of weeks, I'm going to have my clients do a whole challenge and prove it to them that that's the best time to work out, because I am a firm believer in early morning workouts because nothing disrupts it. Most of the people that have routine disruptions are doing it when their workout schedule is their workout schedule or their eating schedule or whatever you're trying to do. All of that stuff, it only works because the schedule is outlined the way that it is, right? But you need to adapt it in a way that the routine is not disrupted every 6 months. That's it. Okay, I don't know how to say it. Now, if you're setting unrealistic, that's number one. Create it in a way where either you plan ahead for the routine disruptions and you know they happen as much as you possibly can realistically, or put it in a place in the day where there are no routine disruptions, okay? Like I had a lot of clients that would work out in the evenings while their kids didn't have sports, and then all of a sudden their kids would have sports and then their workouts went out the window. Duh. Like, I think when you're in it, you don't see it, right? And so that's where coaches come in. They're like, hey, why don't you work out at this time? And then all of a sudden everything's good, right? I don't know. Anyway, routine disruptions. Plan accordingly and put it somewhere where a routine disruption, even a one that is always every year, all the time, and can easily be prepared for, put it somewhere else in your schedule. And then if you're setting unrealistic expectations for yourself, you need to realize that you're setting unrealistic expectations for yourself. If you are not working out at all, and then you want to work out 4 or 5 or 6 days a week, all of a sudden, for some people, it's like they turn it on, right? But I would argue that for a lot of people, they go hard and then they fail and then they don't do it, right? And so you need to make sure that the expectations you're setting for yourself are actually realistic. I was just talking to a lady today, and she messaged me and she said, hey, do you have a macro calculator? Because if you don't know this, there's like hundreds of nutrition coaches that have free macro calculators. I can send you to at least 3 that I can think of off the top of my head that will give you what your macros are supposed to be. I don't have a macro calculator. And the reason I don't have a macro calculator is because most of the people that come to me do not need to learn how to track their macros right now. They need to learn how to just do the normal basic stuff, right? And so I told her, I was like, I don't have one of those. I was like, I can send you to someone who does, but ultimately, like, I don't think it's necessary for you to track your macros right now. And we had just had a free consult. I do that, by the way, giving her some quick advice. And she's like, oh, well, I just thought, I should probably start doing that. And I was like, if you've never tracked your calories before consistently, macros are not going to help you, because that just overcomplicates calorie tracking, basically. Is it important? Yes. Are there ways to do it without like putting in everything you eat? Yeah. And for most people, it just takes it to one. It's like jumping to the graduate degree level of nutrition all of a sudden, right? In my opinion, it's not complicated, but it is overwhelming for most people when you're trying to live your life and really your goal is just to feel better. Okay. So let me just put that out there. So you're setting unrealistic expectations for yourself, like tracking macros all of a sudden when you don't even know they are, how that would look like. Okay. Or running on 5 hours of sleep all of the time and functioning normally and expecting yourself to function normally or perform at your workouts, or like there's lots of things that we do. And I used to do it all the time. Like in college, my friend and I, we would say, oh, we're going to go running in the morning at 6 a.m. And this was like during the off season of rugby. And we'd stay up forever. Like we would stay up so late and then we wouldn't get up. And then we'd be mad at ourselves and be like, well, looking back, that was a dumb decision. Like what? You can't stay up that late and then get up 4 hours later and feel good. We did it probably 3 times. And so don't do that. Like set expectations that are actually realistic. And then the third one, expect yourself to be perfect. Otherwise you won't do it at all. So when my friend in college and I would do these running things, right? We would, I just remember I would tell myself I was going to do it 3 days a week or 4 days a week. And then a week would happen when we were going on a road trip or we were whatever. it was a busy week at work, and I just wouldn't do it because I was like, well, busy week. Like I'd use that as an excuse. Okay. And so it's funny to me when clients come to me and they have those things, because I used to do it. I used to do all of those things, you know. I just figured it out earlier, I guess. But it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect to get the results that you want. You just have to be consistent. And so if you can consistently do 2 days a week, that's better than setting the expectation of yourself that you're going to do 5 and then not doing any because you can't do 5. And when I say it that way, it sounds silly that we do that, but we do it all the time. Or if you can't track your calories perfectly 1 day a week because you eat out, or it's your son's birthday the day before or something, you know, then you're just not going to track it all that week, even though you could do 6 of the 7. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's just silly. So the 3 things to keep yourself from quitting, in my opinion, there's more, but other than just telling you like, just don't quit, because that's really helpful, right? And to make it a habit, which we all know we need to. But the best way to make things a habit is to make sure they fit your routine all the time, not just during the school year or just during the summer or just during when your life looks a specific way and you work this specific job. Like, make it fit all the time. Okay. It is now brushing your teeth. That is the level. You'd never miss it. You wouldn't forget about it. It just, now that's what it is. You have to get your workout in every day or whatever it is, right? 3 times a week. Whatever the realistic expectation is, okay? So routine disruptions, make it a non-issue. And then the setting expectations, set realistic expectations. Don't try and be perfect. Perfection, it doesn't exist. All you need to do is consistency. And so whatever you can realistically stay consistent with, do that. Do it. Be consistent with whatever you can realistically stay consistent with, okay? Had I in college said, I'm going to run the days that I work, which was 2 or 3 or 4 days a week, right? Depending on the week. I'm going to run the days that I work. I probably would have been way more successful because I didn't stay up late those nights anyway, because I had to be to work by 8 or 7:30 or something. So if I had set the expectation like, oh, I work tomorrow, I'm going to get up and I'm going to run at 6, or I'm going to work out at 6 or whatever it was, and then I'm going to go to work, it would have gone way better. But I never even put that together. I didn't even think about it. Okay. And so just set realistic expectations for yourself and make it fit your routine in a way that makes sense all of the time. And don't try to be perfect. Okay. That's it. And then going back to the last episode, I'm going to throw this in here, like, stop trying to make things exciting, or stop expecting everything to be exciting. Because I think sometimes we quit because we're bored or we're not motivated or whatever. But first of all, your feelings aren't a command. So if you're not motivated, do it anyway. And then it doesn't have to be exciting. If it's boring, that means you're doing it right. Okay. Anyway, hopefully this was valuable, and I hope you will tune in next time, and I'll chat with you all later.